Hi there, I'm Greg Levine, and this is the party line for April 20th, 2012. Miss me? I know it's been a while. I've been busy. But I'm here today. I'm here today for a couple of really important reasons. First of all, what are you doing on Sunday, April 22nd, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 2 p.m. Pacific? What are you doing? You're coming with me to Firedog Lake, firedoglake.com, and you're going to chat live with the authors of The Doomsday Machine. Those would be Martin Cohen and Andrew McKillop. They'll be with me. I'll be hosting Book Salon at Firedog Lake, and we're going to be talking about their book, which chronicles the high price of nuclear energy, the world's most dangerous fuel, as they call it, pretty much the history of the myth-making of nuclear power. And it's an interesting book. It's a book not without its controversial points, even from my perspective, and it's a book about a subject near and dear to our hearts. If you're watching this, you probably too care a little bit about the world's most dangerous fuel. That would be Sunday, April 22nd, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you there. Now, there's lots to talk about. There's lots to talk about this week. There's certainly a lot to talk about since the last time you and I have checked in. There's new reactors been approved in South Carolina. There's a water rights battle going on in Utah with a nuclear reactor that's theoretically privately financed hanging in the balance. But most importantly, I think this week is the shot fired across the bow by actually the Obama administration. It goes like this. On Wednesday, Senator Harry Reid from Nevada came out and publicly said that he could not support the renomination of Kristine Svinicki, who is a commissioner on the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. She was originally appointed by George W. Bush, 2008, and Harry Reid said that he could not support her renomination for another term. That was on Thursday. He made a point of saying it publicly. And what happened? I mean, on Wednesday he said that publicly, and what happened on Thursday? Why, the Obama administration made a point of reappointing her, for at least renominating her. She'll have to be brought before a Senate committee and confirmed. Why? What's going on here? Let me give you a little background. Of course, if you've been watching this and reading my stuff, you know Kristine Svinicki. Friend of nuclear power, no friend to you and me. One of, as some nuclear activists have called her, one of the very worst Nuclear Regulatory Commission members in the last 15 years. One of the most staunchly pro-nuclear. Used to be on the staff of Senator Larry Craig. Yes, that Senator Larry Craig from Idaho, Republican, who was, before, anyway, was one of the most ardently pro-nuclear senators in the Senate, and she went from there to the Department of Energy, worked in the Department of Energy on the Yucca Mountain project, which is, if you've, again, been paying attention, Yucca Mountain was supposed to be our long-term nuclear waste repository. It's in Nevada, of all places. It's under a big volcanic piece of rock, a mountain, Yucca, and was supposed to be where we could safely put away all of our incredibly dangerous nuclear waste for the next 10,000 plus years. That's in Harry Reid's home state, and Harry Reid has made a career out of trying to stop the Yucca Mountain project. And for very good reason. There are lots of reasons to think that this isn't actually a very good place to put nuclear waste, from, it turns out, water seeping in to possible magma breakthroughs to some very sort of spiritual problems with putting it in Yucca Mountain to some real dangers that the radiation there might actually leak out. Anyway, Harry Reid has, it being his state, looked out for his state throughout his congressional career and actually managed to get, over the last few years, because he has risen to a position of great power in the Senate, get Yucca Mountain stopped. After a whole lot of investment over the last 2 decades by the United States government. But he managed to get the Obama administration to cut funding to the project and to eventually start looking for a new place to store our highly radioactive waste. That, doesn't really stop people. No doesn't mean no anymore in American politics. And there has been this sort of quiet push behind the scenes by a lot of people to restart the Yucca Mountain project. Why is that? Well, because we have a crisis in this country when it comes to nuclear waste. We have 104 operating nuclear reactors, operating in the broadest sense of the term, because some of them are, of course, shut down for various reasons. But we have a fleet of 104, and scattered amongst all of those sites and some other sites that have been theoretically decommissioned, we have nuclear waste, high-level radioactive waste that's being either stored in pools or in dry casks. None of those are considered permanent storage. In fact, for a lot of reasons, it's very dangerous to consider them anything but extremely temporary storage. And they need to all be moved somewhere where we can put them out of the way for a very, very, very long time. That was supposed to be Yucca Mountain. Yucca Mountain was deemed not a good place to do it. We need to find a new place. But the thing is, you can't really, these pools, these dry casks, we're stuffed to the gills. We're up to our, noses in nuclear waste right now, and we really can't responsibly continue to generate more waste without having a new place to put it. So it is really in the industry's interest to get somewhere soon, get somewhere that's kind of like half built already. I'm not saying Yucca Mountain is actually half built, but they started it. And they have been pushing for something and something soon. And what best of all, of course, is that it's mostly at United States government expense. The industry pays a ridiculously small kind of gratuity on their power generation that's supposed to go to long-term waste storage. It won't even come close to covering the cost of any of this, not to mention the transportation, and etc. All a long roundabout way of saying Harry Reid, very powerful in the Senate, Senate Majority Leader, Chairman of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is a man named Gregory Yatsko, used to work as an aide to Senator Harry Reid, also generally opposed to Yucca Mountain, but Kristine Svinicki, who used to work at the Department of Energy, used to work for Larry Craig, very pro-Yucca Mountain, very pro-nuclear industry. And Harry Reid comes out and says, I can't support her. Why can't he support her? He can't support her because he says she lied in her 2008 confirmation about whether or not she did any work on the Yucca Mountain project. Barbara Boxer asked her a very direct question. She gave what she thought was a, I guess, very direct answer. She was asked if she worked on Yucca Mountain, and she said no. And the spin now is that she said no because she didn't directly go there and, like, I don't know, chisel rock. But she actually helped co-write a report on whether or not Yucca Mountain was going to be our long-term waste repository. So she very clearly said no when we all knew what Barbara Boxer was asking, and the answer, of course, should have been yes. That's Harry Reid's grounds. Says she's lying. Of course, there's a lot of grounds, which is that she's also been staunchly anti-safety upgrades. I mean, even after Fukushima, she has worked tirelessly to make sure that the nuclear industry gets to march straight ahead, basically rubber stamping a license renewal for an identical GE Mark I reactor that's up in Vermont right after the Fukushima disaster started, to opposing any mandatory requirements for the newly licensed reactors in Georgia and South Carolina, that they sort of take into account the Fukushima recommendations, the post-Fukushima task force recommendations, before they themselves can get their full operating license. She voted against that. She also was a willing participant in the attempted coup just a few months ago that attempted to remove Gregory Yatsko as chairman, probably to replace him with Bill Magwood, who's also a Regulatory Commission member, an Obama appointment, but a veteran of the Bush Department of Energy nuclear office himself, because Gregory Yatsko is marginally more concerned with safety than the rest of the commission. And what do we have? We have this standoff between Harry Reid and Barack Obama. Reid saying no, and Barack Obama saying yes. And what does this say politically is really where I'm really trying to go, because this doesn't get public like by accident. This is public because they talked privately and they couldn't come to an agreement. So what does this say about the White House? This says about the White House that it's going to go to bat for the nuclear industry over the objections of one of the party leaders. To me, it also says that the White House is probably looking to push Harry Reid out. I mean, either, look, the Democrats may very well lose the Senate, and then it's not really an issue about Harry Reid being majority leader anymore. I used to say they were definitely going to lose the Senate. The Republicans are doing all they can to make that less probable, but the math is still not good for Democrats. Harry Reid might not be majority leader, but even if the Democrats hang on, and they'll do so by a razor-thin margin, to the majority in the Senate, will the White House push to remove Reid? And if they push to remove Reid, will he be replaced by somebody who's less concerned with nuclear issues, specifically when it comes to Yucca Mountain and the future career of Nuclear Regulatory Commissioner Gregory Yatsko? I think this is something to absolutely be wary of, to keep your eye on. I think it's at least a 50-50 shot, if you ask me. And that's what I think this is really the first sort of signs of, this very public battle over one Nuclear Regulatory Commissioner who, you know, most of the general public couldn't give a glowing eye about. But we'll keep an eye on that. But you will too, right? And you know what else you're going to do? You're going to join me on Sunday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, firedoglake.com for the book salon, Doomsday Machine. Both authors and me chatting it up, and you too. You get to ask questions too. Please. I'll see you there, and I'll see you soon on the party line.